Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Pokemon Soul Silver. When I last left you guys, we were about to cut this silly little tree down with our newfound cut ability. And our newly acquired Paris is able to adequately take care of that. And here we have the Ilex Forest Shrine, a tribute to the Forest Protector. There actually is a neat little Easter egg to be done with this shrine, however, in order to fully realize this Easter egg, there is some, I think either, whoop, I got a phone call and then I got an encounter. There's some special event item you need to be able to have to trigger this little cutscene event, I believe. I don't believe you can trigger it during the course of normal gameplay or anything. At least not to my recollection. And of course, because I got that encounter, that phone call just disappeared. Ilex's forest is so overgrown, you can't see the sky. Well, that's cool. Yeah, there's actually a lot of hidden stuff hiding in the ground that you can't directly see. So, Item Finder will be able to find a lot of stuff in here, but we don't have that yet. So we're just kind of relying on my ability to recall where stuff is. If you're nowhere to look, not just because, like, oh, that's exactly where that thing is, because I remember from last time, you can kind of tell where hidden items would be based solely on, like, at the end of empty paths, there's almost always something hiding on the ground. Almost being the operative word. It's not a 100% sure thing, but... who's that guy up there? Well, we'll go find out in a second, hopefully. Yeah, just check all these little side paths that don't appear to have anything in them, because you'll often find stuff. There is one of those kimono girls again, but we're not ready to go that way yet. We're going to go this way first. Another Paris, you don't say. Well, I already have you, so... I keep forgetting my Slowpoke is paralyzed, actually. It's very annoying. I don't like dealing with Stun Spore and all that fun junk. Let's go down this way, all the way around, and here's the dude. What has he got? He is attacking trees with his face. As one does, I imagine, especially when you're alone in a forest. Try with your Pokemon. Sure, why not? Oh yeah, he's a move tutor. He's not actually a... In old times, it was a TM that gave you Headbutt. But now he's just a move tutor that'll teach it to you, I think, as many times as you want. We're actually going to give that to Slowpoke. Believe it or not, Slowpoke actually learns Headbutt normally anyway, but not till, like, a much higher level. So we're just going to accelerate that process and give him a slightly better move in the form of Headbutt, which is twice the base power as Tackle, and also 100% accurate. So we're going to give him Headbutt over Tackle for sure. And we can also use Slowpoke to headbutt trees and potentially catch Pokemon, which is neat. And in fact, there is a very specific Pokemon I would like to try to catch by using Headbutt. But in order to do that, I have to go all the way back to town. I actually want to grab something back from town anyway, so we're going to head that way. You may be wondering, why in the heck am I going all the way back to town when I just spent all this time getting through this bloody forest and then dealing with all these random encounters? Well... There's a couple of things I want back from town, so... Let's see how Headbutt does. Almost a one-hit KO, that's pretty good. Oh wait, this thing has dry skin, doesn't it? Nope, this one doesn't. I don't know what this one has then, but... That's okay. Still took it down. Yeah, still only 60 experience points. It's just not worth my time, unfortunately. I need to start battling something that's at least a bit more close to my level, and that's going to take a bit, because we're not going to be there yet for a while, but... So those guys are still standing there weirdly, but when we go back to town, they're actually going to be back in their little house in the bottom right of the town, which is where I would like to go, because if I go there, I will get a nice present. It's not super great, but it's something. He forgot to thank us, so here's some charcoal. If you give it to a Fire-type Pokemon, their moves will become stronger. That's true. Well, just their Fire-type moves, really. But a lot of people forget about that. If you go back to town, you can get some free charcoal. But now that we have the ability to Headbutt, I actually want to make use of that, because you can use that to capture Pokemon that you otherwise might not be able to encounter, including in a town like this. We already have Spearow, unfortunately, but you'll see these things are a little bit higher level than what we've been encountering in the forest. But Spearow, regrettably, is not the thing that I wanted. I have a feeling the thing that I want is going to be very difficult to obtain simply because it's quite rare, but also because it's going to be an absolute abject pain in my butt to get. In fact, what I probably should go do is heal up real quick just beforehand. Yes, Silly Spearow has been defeated. So, 66 experience points. What a step up. Oh, not this garbage again. Are you kidding with this nonsense? Okay. Well, guess what, folks? It's another one of those stupid bugs where my emulator crapped out on me again. So, I'm just gonna have to reset my emulator again after I save real quick. I was hoping this would not become a prevalent problem. Pardon the alliteration, but it appears to be that is the case. So, let's go ahead and reset real quick. Yeah, I know. I've done this already a couple times. Alright, that's better. Anyway, moving on. Let's heal our team real quick. So, the Pokemon that you're able to obtain from headbutting trees will vary, depending on where you are at. And there's a fair bit of Pokemon that you can actually only encounter from headbutting trees. There's at least 3 or 4 that come to mind. And actually, the specific tree that you're headbutting also affects what you're able to encounter from headbutting the tree. I don't remember how the mechanics work in this generation, but I believe that if you headbutt a tree and nothing comes out, you will never get anything from that tree. So there's no point in trying to continue to headbutt it. Poor Slowpoke has got to be feeling a headache from that. Although it's fairly oblivious to pain, so... No, I don't want Slowpoke or Spearows, so we're just gonna keep getting the heck out of dodge from the Spearows here. Oh, jeez. Alright, I really should have been leading with something like... I mean, can't escape. That's because I'm so bloody slow. Yeah, we're gonna have to switch out to something faster like Ekans or Spearow to allow me to more easily escape from these wild encounters that I don't want to deal with. Because I don't want to do... Come on, really? This thing's gonna one-hit KO me from leering me 8 times. There we go. Jeez, what the heck, man? Alright, so we're gonna put Ekans in the front, simply because he's fairly fast and also has the ability to paralyze things, which is handy. We're gonna go over here, I think, and headbutt behind Kurt's house. Maybe? Slowpoke used headbutt and didn't find anything. Why don't we try this tree instead? Now, I know this is going to be a little bit tedious, me just randomly headbutting trees in the face with my face, but there is something incredibly valuable from these trees that I never get the chance to use that I would really like to be able to use, and that'll actually solve a lot of my problems with regards to my not having all that strong of a team right now. Assuming I can find the bloody thing. Hey! First try. Would you look at that? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Heracross this early on in the game, and Heracross is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to start off by glaring this sucker real quick, assuming I'm able to ever do that. So for those who are not acquainted with Heracross, Heracross is a bug and fighting type Pokemon, which seems like an odd combination, and it is. But that being said, Heracross is absurdly powerful. Something like 130 base attack, I think. It's out of this world. So we're just going to Poison Sting it little by little. He can't become poisoned because he's already paralyzed. But I don't want to accidentally kill this thing either. The problem is I need to get it fairly weak because this thing has a ridiculously high catch rate. Or low catch rate, I should say. So it is very difficult. Oh, he endured. Cool. So even if I crit, he will not die. Or she, I should say. This is a female. So, something that Generation 4 started... Oh, I would have killed him if he hadn't done that. Jeez. Thank God for that. Anyway, something that Generation 4 started is the concept of sexual dimorphism with Pokemon genders. So, this is a female Heracross. So you'll see that the end of its horn is kind of rounded a little bit. If this were a male Heracross, it would be sharp and pointed instead of rounded off like that. And it would also be a bit longer, I believe. The horn itself would be a bit longer. So not every Pokemon varies in appearance by gender, but there are some glaring examples. most notably Heracross here. Scyther and Scissor, another notable example, I think. If a Scyther is female, it'll have a much longer abdominal section than a male one does. Actually, another glaring example, really, is Pikachu, believe it or not. If you see a female Pikachu, it will have a, like, heart-shaped notch at the end of its tail, as opposed to just being straight and flat on the end for a male one. So that concept was not introduced until this generation, with Generation 4. He's breaking out of my Great Balls, which is bad, because this thing's got an absurdly high catch rate. So we're just going to keep throwing balls at it until I get it, because I really, really want this thing. I know it's only level 4, which sounds bad, and it is fairly low, but at the same time, it should be fairly easy to level up this thing. I hope. We'll have to wait and see here. Alright, so we get ourselves a Heracross, which is awesome. Single horn Pokemon. And actually, this is going to be great because it's female, which means I will not have to contend with the abject, horrible, stupid mechanic that the third gym deals with, which we'll talk about when we get there, but suffice it to say, you don't want to have an all-male team going into the third gym for a number of reasons. But we'll go ahead and restore our party real quick. I'm actually going to pull Heracross out of the PC. I might... I was thinking I might teach it Cut. That might not be a terrible idea. Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Actually, teaching it... If I teach it HM moves, it can't unlearn them is the issue. I wonder if... You know what? We're just gonna wing it here. So it has a relaxed nature. That is plus defense minus speed. That's not fantastic. It's not bad either. I don't think Heracross is particularly quick, and it maybe needed some issues throwing up its defenses. That's not bad. I'll take that. It has the Swarm ability, which just powers up its Bug-type moves. Unfortunately, it doesn't learn any Bug-type moves until level 55, when it gets the best Bug-type move in the game, which is Mega Horn. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll have the opportunity to train it that high until we get to the Elite Four. Maybe if I wanted to drastically over-level, but at this point in the game, I really don't need to. We're going to put Wooper in the PC for now. I don't know what other abilities Heracross has access to. I don't think it gets anything like Technician or something like that in this generation, but we're just going to stick with what we got. I think it's going to be passable enough, I think. We'll see. But the nice thing about Heracross is it learns fighting-type moves, which we desperately need. And also, it learns, believe it or not, it learns Aerial Ace. I think at like level 15 or something like that. Why it learns a flying-type move, I have no idea. Particularly considering the fact that Heracross is quadruple weak to flying-type moves. Being part bug and part fighting. And now we have something that can contend with these silly Weedles and actually maybe get a measurable amount of experience out of them. Here's the fun thing. I only know physical or normal-type moves. So, nothing special just yet, but... Okay, this Weedle is faster than me. I am lower level than it, I gotta remember that. But Heracross has an absolutely absurd attack stat, which is great. Especially once I get it trained up to a decent level. This thing's gonna be making mincemeat out of most of my opponents. And the nice thing about Heracross, given that it does not evolve, it already has a very decently high base stat total. Oh, come on, really? Why is it every time a wild Pokemon poison stings me, I get poisoned immediately, but if I'm trying to do that, I gotta use it like 47 different times? Good thing I packed some extra antidotes. Oh, I have Repel, too. Totally did not acknowledge that, but anyway, we're just gonna unpoison my Heracross real quick. So yeah, Heracross will take a little time to train, but I'm confident that once we get it adequately trained, it'll be a nice, valuable addition to the party here. There actually are a couple of different Pokemon that we can catch from headbutting trees in this area that I wouldn't mind having, but the unfortunate reality is that they're not going to be terribly useful. I mean, it might be worth a shot coming in here some other time to do that, but right now we're just going to keep moving on. I got what I wanted out of Azalea Town, that being this Heracross. Is it the best of Heracrosses? No, but it's something. This is going to be a massive pain in the butt. So we're just going to swap out to something that has a special move to kill this thing. We'll go with Slowpoke because reasons. Also, I looked up what level Slowpoke evolves at, and I'm very sad because we're not going to have a Slowbro for a long time. Level 37, if you were curious. That's going to be well into the last part of the game, probably. Just before the final gym, we'll finally have ourselves a Slowbro. If I decide to keep this thing that long. I haven't made up my mind yet about that. Unfortunately, there's very little in the way of alternative, decent Psychic-type Pokemon. The only other choices are Abra, which I can't use because I've used Abra before. Or, I think Drowsy, and Drowsy is just terrible, so... Drowsy and Hypno are both just terrible. Let's go this way this time. Run into this Kimono girl. Poor lost girl in the dark Ilex Forest. Well, why are you here in the first place? This is a different Kimono girl than the one we ran into in Violet City. Will I show her how to get out of the forest? Yeah, sure, why not? Heracross is like, I know how to get out of here, even though I've never been here before. You're such a smart Pokemon. Heracross, get back here. You're... never mind. Anyway, let's see what's in this here. We get it free ether. Did she really not know to just turn left and be out of here? Or turn, I guess in her case it would have been turn right, because she was facing the other direction. But, nothing here at the end of this one. That's alright. I guess we'll just get ourselves out of this forest. There's nothing else to be done here, really. Now we're going to run ourselves into Route 34. What is this here? TM12. That contains Sweet Scent, I believe. So, oh no, it's Taunt. Never mind. I thought it's in the Generation 2 games, it's Sweet Scent. So Taunt's actually nice. So it prevents Pokemon from using moves that don't directly deal damage. The problem with that, she says it must be difficult catching Pokemon when they're, you know, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The thing you want to prevent Pokemon from doing in the wild if you're trying to catch them is stuff like blowing themselves up, which using Taunt does not prevent, which is very unfortunate. If you have a Pokemon with the ability Damp, that will actually prevent them from self-destructing, but I don't believe I have anybody with such an ability, and I don't know where to find one. Off the top of my head, at any rate. So Heracross is woefully underleveled for such a trainer battle, and yeah, we're going to make sure we get him out of here. Why don't we switch out to Slowpoke, question mark? Yeah, why not? I really need to get my starter trained up, and I'm hard-pressed to think of a place where it would be best to do that. If I were capable of encountering decently leveled Water-type Pokemon, that would be great. Or decently leveled Ground and Rock-type Pokemon, but I don't think there's any place to do that, really, around here. From here on until... I can't progress any further than Goldenrod City, really, until after we beat the third gym. And the third gym is, well, let's just say it's not a fun time. It really isn't. The third gym is probably my least favorite gym, just because of the sheer amount of garbage you have to deal with. I am not a fan of the fourth gym either, just because there's so much garbage trickery to deal with. A Sandshrew. I would love a Sandshrew. I am a massive fan of Sandshrew, actually. Big fan of Sandshrew. I've never really had the opportunity to train one either, because most of the time when I play through Pokemon games, I'm playing the version that does not feature Sandshrew, because Sandshrew is very often a version exclusive. This actually is no exception to that. I actually do not have the ability to capture a Sandshrew in Soul Silver version. It is exclusive to Heart Gold. However, there is one way around that particular problem, and we will be getting to that very shortly. And I may very well add one to my team, because I love me some Sandshrew, and I have not gotten a chance to adequately use one in a very long time. In fact, I don't think I've ever actually trained one from the beginning during a playthrough. I've used one in like Pokemon Stadium for like, you know, competitive kind of dealing or just getting through that game, but I've never actually trained one. So not quite the same situation. I don't think bringing in Heracross on a Spearow is a safe idea. If I get pecked, he's dead, no question asked. So we're just going to headbutt this thing to death. Probably could have safely switched in if I knew it was going to growl, but because I don't know that for a fact, I'd rather not risk it right now. And honestly, Slowpoke could do with some extra XP anyway. I really need to get my starter and my Spearow, however, trained up to a decent level. In fact, if I can get to level 20 with most of my team before we leave Goldenrod, I'll be sitting pretty, because that will actually mean a promoted Spearow at level 20, and that would be awesome. I would love to have a good Fearow on my team. Fearow, not the greatest of bird Pokemon, but actually is one of my favorites. It just looks so cool. I'm not a Gen 1er, by the way, by any stretch of the imagination. I do like a lot of the newly introduced Pokemon, like in Gen 6 and stuff. But there's something to be said about the classics. They hold a special place in everybody's heart because they're the ones everybody grew up with. And Fearow is actually a very good Pokemon and also very cool looking, so I like it quite a bit. That being said, we're going to continue on with the remainder of Route 34 here and make our way into Goldenrod next time. So thank you very much for joining me up to this point. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. So until then, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.